Bring home. Jubilees, chapter 6, 7, 8, and 9 are giving me the flux. So let's get started. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm so glad you decided to join me. And as you already know, if you watched the first two videos, we're reading in the book of Jubilees from the books of Enoch, Jubilees, and Jasher. And you can grab it on Amazon. It's still available. You can also, I'm sure you'll be able to get it from one of the larger bookstores in your city. I'll put a little picture of it up here so that you can see what I'm reading from, and then you can read along with me. So I'm laughing because it's been hours. So let's get started. I'm a little delirious at this point. Chapter 6. And on the new moon of the 3rd month, he went forth from the ark and built an altar on that mountain. And he made atonement for the earth, and took a kid and made atonement by its blood for all the guilt of the earth. For everything that had been on it had been destroyed, save those that were in the ark with Noah. And he placed the fat thereof on the altar, and he took an ox and a goat and a sheep and kids and salt and a turtle dove and the young of a dove, and placed a burnt sacrifice on the altar, and poured thereon an offering mingled with oil and sprinkled with wine, and strewed frankincense over everything, a goodly savor to arise, acceptable before the Lord. And the Lord smelt the goodly savor, and he made a covenant with him that there should not be any more a flood to destroy the earth, that all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest, should never cease. Cold and heat and summer and winter and day and night should not change their order nor cease forever. And you increase, and ye multiply upon the earth, and become many upon it, and be a blessing upon it. The fear of you and the dread of you I shall inspire in everything that is on the earth and in the sea. And behold, I have given unto you all beasts, and all winged things, and everything that moveth on the earth, and the fish in the waters, and all the things for food. As the green herbs I have given you all things to eat. But flesh with the life thereof, with the blood ye shall not eat, for the life of all flesh is in the blood, lest your blood of your lives be required. At the hand of every man, at the hand of every beast, shall I require the blood of man. Whosoever sheddeth man's blood, shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made ye man. And you increase ye, and multiply on the earth. And Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh. And he made a covenant before the Lord God forever throughout all the generations of the earth in his mouth. And Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh. And he made a covenant before the Lord God forever throughout all the generations of the earth in this month. On this account he spake to thee that thou shouldest make a covenant with the children of Israel in this month upon the mountain, upon it with an oath, and that thou shouldest sprinkle blood upon them because of all the words of the covenant which the Lord made with them forever. And this testimony is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you should not eat on any day any blood of beasts or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. And the man who eateth blood of the beast or of the cattle or of the birds during all the days of the earth, he and his seed shall be rooted out of the land. And do thou command the children of Israel to eat no blood, so that their names and their seed may be before the Lord our God continually. And for this and for this law there is no limit of days. This is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar. Every day and at the time of the morning and evening they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf perpetually before the Lord, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. And he gave to Noah and his sons a sign, that there should not again be a flood on the earth. He set his bow in the cloud for a sign of the eternal covenant, that there should not again be a flood on the earth to destroy it all the days of the earth. For this reason it is ordained and written on the heavenly tables that they should create the Feast of Weeks in this month once a year, to renew the covenant every year. And this whole festival was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation till the days of Noah, 26 jubilees and 5 weeks of years. And Noah and his sons observed it for 7 jubilees and 1 week of years, till the day of Noah's death. And from the day of Noah's death, his sons did away with it until the days of Abraham, and they ate blood. But Abraham observed it, and Isaac and Jacob and his children observed it, up to thy days. And in thy days the children of Israel forgot it until ye celebrated it anew on this mountain. And do thou command the children of Israel to observe this festival in all their generations for a commandment unto them. One day in the year of this month they shall celebrate the festival for it, and the Feast of Weeks, and the Feast of First Fruits. This feast is twofold, and a double nature, according to what is written and engraven concerning it, celebrate it. For I have written in the book of the first law, in that which I have written for thee, that thou shouldest celebrate it in its season, one day in 1 year. And I explained to thee its sacrifices, that the children of Israel should remember and should celebrate it through their generations in this month, 1 day in every year. And on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the fourth month, and on the new moon of the seventh month, and on the new moon of the 10th month, are the days of remembrance, and the days of the seasons in 4 divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a testimony forever. And Noah ordained them for himself, as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial unto him. And on the new moon, on the first month, he was bidden to make for himself an ark. And on that day the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. And on the new moon of the fourth month of months, and on the new moon of the fourth month, the mouths of the depths of the abysses beneath were closed. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were opened, and the water began to descend onto them. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. And on this account he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever. And thus they are ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tables. Each had 13 weeks, from one to another, past their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days. And these will make a year and entirely complete. Thus it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tables, and there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year, or from year to year. And command thou the children of Israel that they observe the years according to the reckoning 364 days. And these will constitute a complete year, and they will not disturb it, and they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feasts, for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony. And they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feasts. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons, and the years will be dislodged from their order. And they will disturb the seasons and the years and be dislodged, and they will neglect their ordinances. And all the children of Israel will forget and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the new moons and seasons and Sabbaths, and they will go wrong to all the order of the years. For I know, and from henceforth shall I declare it unto thee, and it is not of my own devising, for the book lieth written before me, and on the heavenly tables the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the feast and the covenant, and work according to the feast of the Gentiles, after their error and after their ignorance. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon. Now it disturbeth the seasons, and cometh from year to year 10 days too soon. For this reason, for years will come upon them when they will disturb the order, and make abominable the days of testimony, and an unclean day, a feast day. And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean, and the unclean with the holy. For they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees. For this reason I command and testify to thee, that thou mayest testify to them. For after thy death thy children will disturb them, for that they will not make the year 364 days. For this reason they will go wrong to the new moons and new seasons and Sabbaths and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood and all kinds of flesh. So that was chapter 6, and I'm going to end here because I only wanted to read that one by itself, because 7, 8, and 9 are actually, to me, they should be read together. You can probably hear my dog. 7, 8, and 9 should be read together. So I read 6 by itself. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me on this day. This has been a trying chapter to get through, and I guess it's, you know what, well, I'm like, this is actually, I've recorded 6. This is the second time I've recorded it, and then I did 7, 8, and 9. I had to start over with one of those because I ran out of space on my phone. But I'm kind of glad that I got to read it over again, because I wanted to point out some things, and I'll probably just point them out as they're being mentioned. But I found it really interesting that we have a 365-day calendar when the book of Jubilees says that we should be one day short of that. So I wanted to point that out, and beseech you to pray on that, because there were consequences to the actions of our forefathers that affected the entire world, to the point that it affected the calendar. Not only would we succumb to celebrating other holidays, holidays and not our feast days, but we would not even, the moon would come 10 days early, because we would be off. Like, by adding one day to the year, eventually it would cause our lunar cycles to be off, and if we're supposed to watch the moon and to keep our feast days and lunar and our certain cycles, then we're not doing it right. And I personally keep the Sabbath as best I can. I just do it on Saturday, but who knows if it's even Saturday, based off of how the Most High intended it. That little clip that you saw, that was me recording, and somehow I recorded an entire chapter in slow motion. That's what that was. So I decided to give you a little taste of it. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week, and hopefully I will see you next week.